Did Connor just get caught in the act of cheating on Jennifer Hudson, everyone? Because Tiffany Haddish, who has been really making fun of Jennifer Hudson, appears to think so. Now, everyone and their mother is aware that Tiffany is upset over Common's separation from her and J. Hud, and it appears that she will soon be able to regain her lick. J. Hud has been receiving warnings from the streets that Common is not who she believed him to be, but she has chosen to ignore them. J. Hud appears to be the next in line for his lengthy and disorganized series of broken hearts. There are rumors circulating that J. Hud has been crashing out ever since he got a new girlfriend. Do you want to speculate as to who is taking pleasure in all of this? That too, Tiffany Haddish. What a resentful ex. Furthermore, she hasn't even made an effort to conceal her affection for this. Naturally, she has also been making crude remarks about J. Hud. However, why in the world did the commenter cheat on J. Hud? His new girlfriend is who? Will Tiffany make an effort to win him back at last? Let me testify, please, and proceed on the 3 count. All right, everyone. Thus avoiding kicking J. Hud while she is already on the ground. This one, however, was visible from a great distance. No matter how much he tries to hide it, Common's past speaks for itself. He has never been the forever type. Short-lived romances, high-profile flings, and a history that betrays a lack of commitment. Fans, however, remained hopeful. J. Hud, who forced Common to slow down, settle down, and possibly even start a new family, was supposed to be the one exception to the rule. However, that dream now appears to be dead. There is a lot of gossip on the streets about Common allegedly cheating on J. Hud and how sad she is. The fact that this man was out there telling everyone that she was the one, and even discussing marriage, makes it even more bizarre. You guys are still killing it with Jenny Jen. That concludes the first section. The second question is, do you ever envision getting married? In regards to Jenny Jen abs, we are definitely together, and I simply value her as a woman, a partner, an artist, and a person. She is a unique individual within our man. I'm simply appreciative of it. I give thanks to God, indeed we are doing well. Well, if I were to get married, Jennifer would be the one I would choose. She is the prototype, I see. Although she is the prototype, she is also the actual person. However, having said that, it's one of those situations where I constantly look at my life and ask myself, okay, what? Because that's a powerful decision to make. You know, and should not be treated lightly at all. However, you guys weren't out here slanging that thing all over town the entire time. Despite the fact that many people feel sorry for J. Hud, Tiffany Haddish is most definitely not one of them. According to an unidentified source, she has actually been enjoying every second of this public infidelity scandal. Furthermore, this shouldn't come as a huge surprise to anyone who has followed Tiffany's antics since her split from Common. The fact that she still has feelings for him has never really been concealed. She's received a lot of criticism over the years, and some of it might be very obvious that she thought Common had cheated on her with J. Hud in the first place. For instance, one admirer said during an Instagram live that they had given them to Common Ace. He responded, "Girl, he never gave me no damn earrings. He probably gave those to Jennifer." Tiffany didn't even think twice before attempting to clap back with that bitterness, saying that he had likely given those earrings to J. Hudson. However, if Jennifer was actually playing karma while he was still with Tiffany, then Tiffany's long-standing animosity would make perfect sense. It would also account for her apparent enjoyment in his infidelity scandal. She sees it as the entire circle of karma. However, other admirers believe that this could be Tiffany's ideal opportunity to initiate contact. She has stated unequivocally that she still has feelings for him. And please, a reported side girlfriend. If she believed there was even the remotest possibility of regaining his affection, that wouldn't deter her. Since she was clearly much more invested in Common than he was when they initially started dating, she would say things like, "Come close to me, baby." During the epidemic, she was the one who pushed for their IPO. She even made sure to show him off on an Instagram live with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, adjusting her camera just enough to show off her beau while they were in quarantine together. Let's discuss that other tea later. Yes. Well, as I mentioned earlier, she was far more dedicated than he was. Tiffany also couldn't stop talking about how much she wanted her 41st birthday to be a memorable one. She even described her ideal scenario in one interview, stating, "I'm just hoping me and my man we going hot air ballooning and have us a nice little meal. That's what I like to do. I got wasted with my grandmother on my 39th birthday. I've never done that before. I also experienced a terrible mishap on my 40th birthday. That was a lot of fun. I wanted to ride in a hot air balloon on my 41st birthday. In addition to ignoring the hot air balloon concept, he made no plans for Carmen's birthday. He sent her flowers, according to sources, but really, That's the least you could do on your woman's special day. She even acknowledged that she hoped to get married, stating that she preferred an apartment building to a conventional engagement ring when he proposed. I'm having fun. I won't add anything new to it. He can give me an apartment building if he wants to marry me. Oh, I see. A ring is not what you want. You're looking for a complex of apartments. I provide a duplex, apex, or similar. For example, when the house girl asks, "Where are you? Where are your carrots? Why did I think you were engaged?" Please, carrots girl. I received units. Get rid of it. If you're wondering how Common responded to that, he basically stated that he wasn't in it for the long haul, just for fun, so she had high expectations. I will act in a way that benefits both the woman and myself. I just want happiness, wonderful moments, and peace on earth right now, you know. Therefore, their decision to end their relationship a few months later wasn't particularly shocking. Fans were really relieved that Tiffany had at last stopped receiving hateful remarks. Because listen, he was smitten with her. This is when things get wild. Karma was the one who ended the relationship and then attempted to justify it by pointing the finger at their hectic schedules. Perhaps both of us have jobs. In my opinion, Tiffany and I were unable to devote as much time and effort to our relationship after we were back on the road. The love didn't truly spread, in my opinion. I simply believe that we weren't sustaining the relationship, and as you mentioned, neither of us will stop because we both care about our careers, our work, love, and partnerships. However, I believe that the energy we have invested in our careers and our desire to continue doing what we do for ourselves and the people around us made it difficult for me to balance all of that and maintain the relationship. Tiffany responded with her own account of events, stating that he might be the kind of person who never truly settles down with anyone. She wasn't ready to let comments get away with using that justification. He might be like a beet that moves from one blossom to another. I'm not sure. I send him my best wishes for happiness and joy. She didn't come out and talk about it, but it seems like she was attempting to imply that Common had cheated on her at the time. Common mentioned that again in an interview after she moved on with Jay Hood. The breakup wasn't reciprocal. Rather, it was him saying, "I think this relationship has run its course," she said. It was the healthiest, funnest relationship I ever had, and it was where I felt the safest out of all the relationships I ever had. And I said, "All right, like you gonna be a 50-year-old single man? Okay." And now it's looking like she's running that same play with Jay Hood. But the crazy part is that Tiffany and Jay Hood are far from the only ones that he's done this to. Common has a track record of heartbreak that goes way back with names like Sabrina Williams, Taraji Benson, Erykah Badu, and a few others. I won't even get into all the list right now, but every single time it's the same story. Just when the woman starts getting attached, he hits her with a psych, calls it quits, and moves right on to the next woman. It's interesting, though, that none of this exes seem to keep things cordial with him, especially Erykah Badu. And that's because word is he did every single one of them dirty. Now, for some context, Erykah Badu and Common started dating back in 2000 and stayed together for about 2 years before she decided to call it quits in late 2002. At first, Erykah kept the details close to the chest, but Common had no problem running his mouth. He claimed the breakup happened because she caught feelings for someone else and dumped him over the phone. He said she handed it to me. I was in my hotel room on tour, and she called me and was like, "Hey, I don't want to be in this relationship no more. I resemble someone else." He also said that he was still devastated when things ended with Erykah saying, "But Erykah Badu, that was my first love where you're just open and floating. That was my first love and my first heartbreak. I was 27 to 28 when we broke up. I was merely going through the motions in a daze. Eating was difficult. After a while, Erykah had had enough of his narrating the breakup tale his way and framed her as the bad guy. Thus, she made a suggestion that adultery had contributed. She said, "No, infidelity is not a deal breaker for me. We're all born sexual beings. I myself am not someone with a very high libido. I don't require intimacy for happiness. I need companionship. I need a partner I can depend on, that I can love and grow with. But I do understand the nature of these men I have been with and men in general. They have a need to chase. So even though he allegedly cheated on Erykah, he still spun the breakup as her fault, claiming she caught feelings for another man. That's straight up manipulative. And when I say this man had a bad rep, I mean it. But after things ended with Angela Rye, he suddenly tried to clean up his image. Talk about how he'd gone to therapy and was ready to be a better partner and all that jazz. And he says the work he's doing on himself will help him fulfill a lifelong dream. And you write a lot about you want to be a husband one day. You have a rather famous relationship coach. Oh yeah, that yes. Michelle Obama. She has definitely helped talk me through just certain moments of relationships. We had conversations and she has given me a lot of wisdom. But one great thing that she told me as I was going through this journey was that you have to understand you're not going to get anybody that's perfect because you're not perfect. So understand that there's some certain things that you will compromise in choosing that partner. But long as the core values, the values that are most important to you, that person, marks off on that list, then you good. She gave you some good advice there. That's good. Some really good wisdom there. But judging how things went with Jay Hood, therapy clearly didn't work that much, and he might as well ask his therapist for a whole refund. But it's crazy to think that he was out here saying and doing all these things just to make it seem like Jay Hood was the one while supposedly cheating on her the whole time. But what makes it even worse is that Jay Hood had already been through more than enough when it comes to relationships, and she didn't deserve that. I mean, y'all remember her relationship with wrestler David Otunga, right? Things took a dark turn when Jennifer's mom, brother, and nephew were tragically unalive by her brother-in-law just a few weeks after she got engaged. It was an unimaginable, painful time, and Jennifer needed someone steady to lean on. Thankfully, David stepped up in a big way, staying by her side and even planning getaways to help her escape the grief and start healing. Then, like a burst of light in a long, long sea of darkness, Jennifer got pregnant later that year. By 2009, they welcomed their son, David Jr., and for a while, it looked like their little family was failing into perfect place. But by 2010, after being engaged for more than 2 years, people started wondering when they'd finally walked down the aisle. Rumor added that they were set to marry that year, but decided to push it back. They eventually called it quits, but the breakup was far from peaceful. Jennifer claimed that in the final stretch of their relationship, David's behavior took a dark turn, accusing him of becoming increasingly aggressive, threatening, and harassing toward both her and their son. She even alleged that the situation escalated to mental and physical abuse as things completely unraveled. Jennifer alleged that David sent her some chilling messages that left her so shaken that she called in security to stop him from showing up at the studio and causing the scene. But thankfully, he never appeared there. But the situation allegedly escalated later that day when, according to Jennifer, and David was waiting for her at home. She claimed he confronted her, grabbed their son by the arm and took him upstairs to the master bedroom, then shoved her out the room while still holding onto their child's hand. So yeah, Jay Hood absolutely deserved better than him. But let's be real, is Common really an upgrade? Because I don't think he was ever going to be the good guy. And now she's just the latest name on a long list of women that he's left heartbroken. And in true form, it's only a matter of time before he quietly soft launches his next relationship like nothing ever happened. And Tiffany has got to be loving every moment of this. But at the end of the day go in. And Tiffany didn't just crack a joke. She cracked the whole situation wide open. Jennifer's name is right in the middle of it. Comments already fang this new flame like nothing ever happened. And Tiffany's trying to make sure the world has front row seats to the drama. So now everybody's left wondering, was this playful shade? Or did Tiffany just rip the bandit off some old wounds that Jay Hood is still nursing? One thing's for sure, two things for certain, this story is nowhere near over. And the next switch is about to be even juicier because it's Jay Hood trying to get Comment back. And I am telling you, I'm not going. Cool it. Cafe. Cool it. Cafe.